Hey, what up, game changers? Welcome to another edition of my weekly trades analysis. This week, Lucid was my best trade. It was more than 6% gain in one single trade. In this video, I will be talking about all of the trades that I did this week, and some of them are losers, some of them are winners. I would like to share all of them with you. Alright, let's look at all of the trades that I did this week. As you can see here, I only have 4 days because last Friday I didn't trade. August 31st, I traded the most, and the Lucid was on September 1st. That was the biggest winner. Let's look at Lucid first. I got in at 9.31. The price I got was $16.87. It was really low. It was a huge position, and I got out gradually. The first time it was around 10.04, then 10.45, then 10.46. Well, you will see it was a beautiful trade. I captured almost all of it. As you can see right here, this is the first candle, right? It was very bullish and it opened super low. So I was waiting for a little bit for confirmation. And the second candle right there, it was super bullish as well. And what do you do right here? You go long, and it's worth trying. Well, this trade is good, but actually I tried the same thing on Futu the day before. It didn't work. That was a bad trade. It was a huge loss. But sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. So right here, I was a long position, and it went on, and it went on. It was really beautiful. Actually, right here, I was a little bit worried because it went all the way up right here, and my trading stop was right below the first candle right there. It was around $16. It almost touched my trading stop. I gave myself a lot more room to just let it run because I think this momentum is going to be very strong, and where the pullback is going to be stronger, and it didn't touch my trailing stop, so I let it run. At 10.04, I got out half of my position. So with this red candle right here, I didn't really like it, so I lost a little bit confidence. But since I was winning a lot, and I said, hey, let's just let it run and see where it goes. So it kind of trading sideways for a few more minutes, and I lost my confidence. I say right here, let's get out like half of my position. So I sold half, then it went. That's like, oh, it's still going. So I went in. But right here, this is where it really shook my confidence. But I only had half size. I'll let it touch my trading stop. Eventually, it didn't touch my trading stop. It still went up. It was around 10.45 right here. I didn't really like this one again. So basically, it wasn't making another new high, as you can see right there. So 10.45, I got out another 25%, which I was out 75% of my position. And the 10.46, though it was kind of like pushing up, I didn't like this. I thought it was going to trade down, but I was wrong. But it's okay. Eventually, that's where it traded really down. But I got out with a lot of profit right there. That was one of the best trades for the week. More than 6%. It was absolutely stunning. The next trade I had was Futu. It was the same setup, but it went differently. I got in at 9.30. Then I averaged down 1 minute after. I got out 30 seconds after. So basically, it was a really quick trade, and you will see why I traded the way I did. So here we go. This is the first candle that it opened low. There were a lot of buyers came in, and they were trying to push it higher. So I bought it twice because I only went in half of my full position. Because when I saw this, the buyers weren't that strong. Their willingness weren't that strong to get it higher. The price I got in was $97.12. As you can see, it was really high up there, and sellers came in and pushed it down. But it was a half position, so I waited for the second candle. It wasn't a bullish candle, it was a bearish candle, and it didn't make a new high. Somehow, I was still a little bit confident because volume was there, even though sellers came in, but I averaged down because I was a half position in. I could buy it one more time. So I bought around $96.19. It was also high. Then this happened right there. my stop was just a little bit above $94.50, but it went all the way down. It went all the way down. My exit price was $94.35. So it was almost like a 3% loss right there for the first 2 minutes. So with this one, like I said, the same setup, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And if it doesn't work, get out. If I had waited, it would go up more, but I would have taken like a 6 or 7% loss. That's just not my trade. So that was my Futu. That was a losing trade right there. It was really, really sad. But you win some, you lose some. All right, the next trade I want to talk about is Apple, and it was a 10-minute trade. I got in around $149.26, and I got around $149.89. It was a 10-minute trade. So let's look at a graph. This is a 30-second time frame. It opened high, the second candle right there. I didn't get in on the first one, I got in on the second one. So I got in because it was really, really bullish. As you can see in previous days, Apple doesn't move that much. So I was a little bit actually worried. I didn't want to chase too high. So I got in with a very small position. For the next few candles, it didn't really go because it was really, really a small position. So I gave myself 80 bips, I think, at the time because I put it really, really low. It was trading higher. As I was waiting right here, so before I saw this candle right there and the volume, it was a really, really high. So I waited for 130 seconds. I was a little bit nervous. I didn't think Apple could go this high. You see, previously, every one of them almost made a new high, but not for 2 candles. So this one, you see that this is red, but the next one immediately pushed higher. And then it showed me this one. And I didn't like that one because it didn't make a new high. And buyers tried to push it higher, but no. Then the next one, you had this like long wick from top. So that means sellers are trying to push it down. I didn't like that. So I got in around that a dojo candle right there. And then the next one either. Though it went higher. But I just didn't want to take the risk anymore. I just want to get out. Anyways, so it was a winning trade for Apple. The next stock I traded was AFRM. I have very good reasons the way I traded it. I got in around 9:42 and 17 seconds. It was a short position. Then 1 minute after, I was out. Let's look at what I did. Here we go. That's the time when I got in. Buyers came in and they tried to push it higher, but I failed. And it was trading sideways for a while. Around 9:42, right here, 9:42, this candle gave me a little bit confidence. I like this very bearish candle, and it made a new low, a very solid new low. Then after 30 seconds, I didn't like this one. It was a bullish candle, and I didn't like the wick right there. Though the next one, it's a bearish candle. I got out around the next bearish candle because it didn't go as I planned. My plan was that sellers wanted to come in, they would come in and they would sell this. And the volume is lower. So I didn't like this one. This one is a little bit higher, but it didn't make a new low, so I didn't like it. So I got out. If I had waited longer, eventually it was going to go up. So that was just my trade. But I made a little bit of money. It was a foot position, and it was really, really quick. The next trade is GSAT. It was a short position. I got in pretty early, around 9:32 and 9 seconds, and I got out around 9:51, 36 seconds. This is what it looks like in the beginning, that it opened super high, sellers came in. I wanted to go short because sellers volume, it says that this is going down. And I got in 2 minutes after, right here, the green one. I was hoping that it would go back to the VWAP right there as a resistance. So I shorted when it was trying to touch the VWAP, and that I thought that was my opportunity. I didn't chase it down here. I traded when it went back a little bit, and the next one actually went above. My stop was a little bit above the 240 area. That was my trailing stop right there, and it didn't really go. I got super lucky. You see that? That was very, very close as it was going down. So I was right. It was trading down, as you can see right there. I got out around 9:51, so it was trading down even more. I was really happy. Right here, I didn't like this one because that's where my 9-period EMA went above my 21-period EMA. So this is where I got out. I think it was a very good position. That's GSAT. It was a beautiful trade. The next trade is SPRTsupport.com. When you see this, what do? Obviously, to me, it's a long, very good volume. So I longed this around 9:34. The next one is a beautiful candle right there. I longed right there, 12 seconds in. Then I got out the next candle because it didn't go as I planned. It was a full position. What scared me, it was this volume right there. I thought this just got rejected. Even though this bearish candle, it wasn't completely engulfed the previous one, but I was still worried. And the next one is lower. So I was lucky I got out with a profit. And it was okay trade. See, I didn't lose money. The next trade is ACIU. It was a long position. When I was looking at a chart of ACIU right here, I like the volume. The buyers came in and the volume was getting higher. There was this kind of resistance right there, and I was waiting to have a breakout of this resistance, and I would go long. And the next one right here, you can see that you had this breakout, but sellers came in. So I got in. I said, hey, why not take a shot? And it was not a full size, it was a half size. But the next one, it got rejected. Though I still waited because I saw that buyers pushed it higher. So it gave me a little bit confidence. When I saw this bearish red candle right here, I did not like this at all. So finally at 10:26, I got out this red candle right here. It tried to make a new high, but sellers came back in, so I did not wait, and I got out. It was a loss, a long position. They did not go the way that I wanted them to, so eventually it traded even lower. You see that? So I dodged a bullet right there. I got out right here. This is a perfect losing trade, I guess. The next trade is AMD. This was a good trade too. I made all the right decisions. So here we go. When you see this chart, what would you do? I would go short because I see right here, this is my VWAP, and the VWAP is acting as my resistance right there. And it had 1, 2, 3 major resistances during the day, and I would like to go short. And obviously, my faster EMA goes below my slower EMA, so that indicates a short position. So I went short when it was around this area. 10:11 right here, this green candle. It went a little bit higher, but I think it was a good place to get in. So it went 10:14. You can see it right here, 10:14 right there. This candle. I loved this candle a lot. So I doubled my sizes, and it didn't go, and the volume went down. My thinking was, if it had this kind of momentum, that it should continue. Otherwise, it would be very difficult for it to go down anymore. 10:15 right here, it went a little bit, but it was not a candle that I liked. So as you can see, now let's look at the chart right here. AMD, around 10, 15, 21 seconds, that's when I got out. Because at the beginning, the volume didn't pick up. The last 9 seconds, it picked up. And that's why I got out. But I think it was a good trade because you can see that it went a little bit more, but eventually it went back up. Remember, my full position was doubled, so I would not like to see this go back, and eventually it went back up even more, all the way back to this VWAP right there. So I think I captured this very quick, very fast profit right there. I think it was good, and I really liked how I doubled right here, though it didn't work, but it was still a very good trade. Next one is EEM, and my assessment on this trade was based on volume right there. It opened very high, and these candles aren't that bullish, but I still decided to give it a shot. It was a long position, obviously. There's no reason to short, right? Well, I guess because this is a resistance. I guess you can try a short, but this volume suggests otherwise. I would like to go long. I don't want to trade in front of a trend. I don't want to go against the trend. It was not a full size because I was a little bit adventurous, because there wasn't any confirmation besides the volume right there. And right here, this red candle right there, long wick, and it tried to go down, but the buyers pushed it back higher. So I decided to go long, but it didn't go the way I planned it to be. It kept on trading sideways. I got out about 10:16, and actually it was a losing trade because initially I got in around $52.50, and then I got out at $52.33. It was a small position, so it was a small loss. And when I see this right here, when I didn't like this faster EMA, 9 EMA goes below 21 EMA, and I didn't like this at all. Eventually, it ticked me out. The next trade, it was Zoom, and it was a short position. Zoom opened very low, and it was still slowly trading down. So I thought if buyers didn't come in at the beginning, it was going to trade down. So I waited until this candle right there, it was touching VWAP right there as a resistance. I want to go short. I got in at 9:37, and eventually it didn't really go. It went above the VWAP, but it was still trading down. And I got ticked out at 9:43. It was an okay loss because I always have my trailing stop. It didn't go the way I planned, but I still wanted to try it because, I thought buyers wouldn't come in. The whole day it was trading sideways. Next trade is AMC. It opened high, and I can see right here the volume is pretty good. The second one is not that good, but the buyers tried to push it higher, and the second candle is still bullish. And I got in on the second candle. I got in at 9:31 and 14 seconds. Then the next one, he pushed higher, but sellers came back in. Then he pushed even down further. I had my trading stop at here, so I was ticked out. The price I got in was $47.85, and the price I got ticked out, it was $46.64. It was a losing trade, but right here, if it doesn't work, get out, don't wait. But eventually, it traded down further. So it was a loss, but at least I limited my losses. And the next trade is still AMC the day after, September 2nd, and it was right there. You see the volume right there? The volume picking up. Bullish candles, great, go in. And I would like to long this, definitely. I got in 10:37. The volume was really, really high, and I still thought that it would keep on rallying. Then the next candle, I didn't like that. Volume is still strong, but it got rejected. So I got out immediately. Eventually, it traded down. So sometimes your instincts, they tell you, you should just go with it. And I didn't like this because my thinking was, if he wants to rally, you would go. You would not wait because the momentum is so strong. With this much volume, you would go. But it didn't, so I got out. And with a meme stock like this, if people they want to buy, everybody would get in, and it wouldn't act like this. So I was totally right, and it didn't. You see that? It was trading down a little bit more, and it would have been a bad loss right there. And I like these kind of small losses. They are your friend. So keep those small losses and don't lose big. And the last stock I traded yesterday, it was Annie. It was a Sphere 3D, and it was a beautiful rally. It rallied more than 50%. I did not capture all of it. My price was $7.76, around here. With all of its volume volatility, get in. If it goes, it goes. If it doesn't, take a small loss and get out. And after 3 minutes later, I was a little bit worried. Sometimes I always worry because of this red candle. If this bearish candle had not been there, I would have waited. But over here, 25, I got out half of it. And the price I got was $8.04. It was still okay, but I still had a 50% left. I let it run 2 more minutes. It didn't go. I got out, and eventually it went all the way to $12. But it was still a good trade because initially it was a full size, and I made a lot of money on this one. Okay guys, that's it for today's video. If you like this video, please remember to like and subscribe. This is Grant. Trade and invest responsibly.